Oh my goodness, it's Thursday night football talk time. Boy, do I have a lot to talk about. So let's get some things out of the way in the beginning here. Week 9 of the NFL algorithm is under construction. I'm still doing a lot of work to it, which you will see if you stick around for the back half of this video, which will be a lot of technical stuff about this file. I would not expect a lot of passive people to watch all the way through, but that's what's happening. It's not available yet because it's under construction. However, there is one person, believe it or not, there's only one person who has sent me any money since November started for the new, because I stopped all the subscriptions at the end of October. There's one person who sent me money. That person is the first person that's going to get this file, even while it's still under construction, so that they can look at it. If you would like a copy yourself, just send me money send it to via PayPal to my kenstalk@live.com. You'll see it in the description, or send me crypto or whatever. Contact me. I'll take anything. You have your own budget, whatever you think is fair. I'll take it, and I will send you a current version of the file, and then get you an update Sunday morning when it is ready for everybody, when everyone can download it for free. So if you're hard up for cash, you can wait till Sunday right before the game start, and it will be up with a video then. So getting those two things out of the way. I was working on this for hours tonight. I was working on this for hours, watching hockey while simultaneously doing work on this file. And as I was updating players and going through the entire player list and seeing who's a free agent and who's got traded, and oh, Zach Ertz is on Arizona now, and Amir Abdullah is on Carolina now, and I realized that I'm not even complete in doing all the new roster changes. I'm just catching up with some of them that are hitting the stat sheet probably from last week. So there's a ton of more work to do, even though I already spent a couple hours on this tonight. Like I said, one person paid me. I've spent hours on this tonight, but it's too cool not to make it as accurate as possible, because the more accurate it is, the more accurate it's going to be. It's just the way it works. So let's talk about the Thursday night game for anybody who cares about that. So we're not complete yet. I assume this is the score right now at a magnifier 5.5, 25-17, even without Derrick Henry. He's obviously injured now, and that's sad. Thursday night games are kind of funky anyway. Doesn't think they cover the 10 points. Makes it unbettable in that sense in almost every way here. It looks like a terrible game to bet. But here's what I want to do to talk about what builds up to this, and now the construction of the file and other things we're going to be doing. For those of you that have been asking me about just, how do you do this? What can you teach me? And the answer is not really. I can just show you what it does, and you can try to reverse engineer it and learn the programming yourself and learn how to connect numbers and stuff in Excel. So, well, what builds up to this game? Well, let's go to the Proj pivot sheet. The Proj pivot sheet has all the teams and all the players and their injury statuses. We can start by looking at the two teams and how they compare color-wise, right? So we have the New York Jets, which are right here, and the Indianapolis Young Horses, right? There we go. So what we have here is we have empirically Indianapolis scores higher. Let's make sure we don't have duplicate kickers in here. No, Badgley is just a good kicker. And on the Jets, Amendola, they got an Amendola that kicks. It is a decent kick. So we don't have two kicker problems, so that's good. Everything looks okay here. Carson Wentz is getting a reasonable 0.2 rating. The Mike White may be better than we think after his great game beating Cincinnati last week. That kid, even if he has a bad start, he already won a game. So they're giving this kid a third shot no matter what. So he probably has a decent game. That's kind of fun to watch, and they've got him on Thursday night for no reason, right? So in terms of the theatrics of things, I would expect a little more out of this 0.2 out of Mike White on the Jets. Now, somebody asked me about players, and some of these guys that are on here may not even be playing anymore. You're right. Some of them might be off and not playing snaps at all. How do you get rid of them? Well, you go to your name slicer here. Slicer settings, hide this stuff. And you get all the names, and if Ashton, Dylan, whatever, doesn't play, you just pull them off by holding control, and you'll get them out of there. I don't know who plays and who's going to be playing and who's not. I am going to do the work by Sunday to get the rosters correct, because I'm a perfection guy when it comes to this. There's a correct roster set, and I can get those names, and I can write a formula and match them up. even if I have to do a lot of this one by one as I'm just checking people because I don't know if I have them correct or not. That's kind of what I was doing tonight, and it's annoying, but it creates great products, so we're just going to do it. So everything looks kind of clean in here. Really, really clean in here, actually. So this is an empirically a good game with an underrated Jets quarterback, in my opinion. Well, in that sense, then I go back and look at the projections, and I think, well, what if the Jets score more than 17 because Mike White has a good game? All of a sudden, this 46 over-under looks really low if Mike White has a good game. You have no Derrick Henry running anymore, so they have to throw more. You almost wonder if that accidentally creates more offense for the Colts, especially against a team like the Jets that probably don't have much of a defense. And the answer to that question is, if we look at the Jets' defensive rating, they are right here, and they're a negative 6.6. No surprise, right? I mean, how bad is that when it comes to everybody in the league? The answer is they're the worst. There you go. Now, is that number accurate? It's a great segue. Is that an accurate defensive rating for the Jets currently? Well, somebody asked me, hey, Ken, what about grabbing the rosters of the defensive guys and do ratings on them? And I was like, you know, I did this a couple years ago, actually, and then I got super annoyed because tackles were like not a good gauge of how good a defensive player was, and it drove me insane. And I just deleted the whole thing, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to roll a defensive number into what ProRef gives me, and I'm just going to use it like a lazy programmer. And so whenever anybody asks me to do something and I honestly take a look at their question and I'm like, you know what, would that make this better? And the answer is yes, it would. So I did it. So here it is. So this is now the defensive rosters that come off of RotoWire. And what I haven't done is figured out what is important when it becomes to being a defensive player. For example, if we care about somebody who only sacks people, then they're a 100% sack person. Then the best person in the league would be Myles Garrett on Cleveland, who's got 10.5 sacks, right? Now, if we said, well, that's only 50% of our game, we also like somebody who has total tackles as well as just sacks. Now, all of a sudden, the best player in the league is still Myles Garrett. Dude's awesome, right? What if it's interceptions that we care about only because we're looking at people who are, you know, pass defense people? Well, oops, what have I done? Let's grab this, get rid of this. Now, all of a sudden, if we're looking at just interceptions, it's probably going to be Trayvon Diggs, right? Yep, Trayvon Diggs. He's got 7. So you can change what you value here. And what I did was just a simple 10 across because I didn't know what the heck to do. And it created something. Now, that creates the best defensive all-around player being Darius Leonard on Indianapolis because why? Because he's got a ton of snaps, 2 interceptions, fumble. He's doing everything, right? And he's probably a great player to have a rating like that. Well, we have 2 games going on, right? So if we sort this by team and we care about just Indianapolis for an example to start, we can look at their defensive roster, which is this, and we can zoom in and say, well, who's injured and where are they? Oh, is Kari Willis out? Oh, whoops, he was big, apparently. He's a big safety. So that's not good. IR, that's bad right there. What does that leave with people that are not injured, right? It leaves just this, Darius Leonard being literally the entire defense besides Bobby Okereke. Okereke. He's probably good with a name like that. So now all of a sudden we start to see that Indianapolis' defense actually looks spotty and hurting just visually right here, right? Well, how about the Jets, which were already bad? They don't have too many people hurt. The people they have hurt are down here in no man's land for the most part, so they're pretty clean. So the Jets are ripe for an upset because we predict they have more offense than we think because Mike White's rating is probably underrated, we're assuming, after that one crazy game against Cincinnati. That's a total guess, but whatever. And Indianapolis' defense is hurting more, so it spells more points. The over is the play in this game because there's nothing else to bet except betting the Jets at what kind of ridiculous line? 425. Wow, that's a Thursday night line for you. That's actually not that. You definitely take them plus 10.5 now, obviously, because even though this game's supposed to be high scoring, they probably score with White. You take a gamble on that. So that's the spread line for sure. And you accidentally win this game if they outscore them 27-25 or something, right? 27-24. And you can start messing around with magnifiers. I'm going to talk about the magnifier in a second because of what happened last week. Yeah, you get a 30-27 game where the Jets win. I bet you. Anyway, so it's funny that it shows some signs when you really dig through the stats and now dig through the defense, which I haven't integrated this at all into the projections. I obviously will do something. I think I'm going to show a comparison of the team's total defensive ranking and then the injured portion of it, and then break it down to show you how injured the defense is. And also total percentages of the defense once we figure out what a good distribution is for all these different categories. So that's kind of how you build an assessment of a bunch of players. I have a similar one for kickers, for receivers, for rushers, and for passers. And we roll them all together, and I haven't obviously rolled defense into the everything list yet to make it fully compatible, which is what I'll do before Sunday. So all that being said, what do you do on Thursday night? You take the Jets plus 10.5. That's actually the reasonable even money pick, but the over is better because of what we just saw in holes in Indianapolis's defense and the Jets having a potentially firecracker quarterback. And the rest of the week, I'll work on it, have it by Sunday. If you want to pay me something for it before then, you'll get it before then. And you'll be one of the special group of people that pay me and get it before then. All right? So good luck, everybody, on Thursday. Go Jets. Now, wait a minute. I have to say one thing before we're done because I remember a previous video. The video was, it said, remember, Ken, we never, ever bet on the Jets. That was what I was supposed to remember. Hold on a second. It says, don't ever bet on the Jets. Even if they have a good quarterback, you don't bet on the Jets. So we can bet out the quarterback for a second, the quarterback, to put up more points. So the over is definitely the only play in this game. Because the Jets can still blow a ton more points because we saw how bad their defense is. Who cares if their defense isn't hurt all that much? Their defense sucks anyway. So you don't ever bet on the Jets. Remember? We don't do that. Good if you stuck around to the end. You don't ever bet on the Jets. But you can bet on the over in this game. And that is what I would recommend on Thursday night. All right, now. Good luck. May your picks be winning.